Hey, how's it going, everyone? Saintsfan back again with another GTA 5 video, and today I want to talk about a really controversial topic. Are microtransactions in GTA Online, shark cards, are they the cause for no recent Rockstar games? I'll throw the graphic on the screen that you see in the thumbnail. This is from 2008 to 2017, and this is the games that Rockstar have released. Now, I do want to point out in 2017, I know people are going to say, dude, where's Red Dead Redemption 2? This is an older graphic. So you could put Red Dead Redemption 2 on there, although the one thing I will say, and I'm not saying this as a negative, it's just kind of funny how this is the case usually. Rockstar normally don't stick to their word whenever they give a first initial release date. I think, well, it's happened multiple times with GTA and DLCs in GTA, so, you know, many people are saying, okay, they said it's coming out in 2017, but it's probably going to come out maybe in the spring of 2018. So we won't talk too much about Red Dead Redemption, but looking through these other games, 2008, you had GTA 4 and Midnight Club LA. 2009, Chinatown Wars and Beat Raider. 2010, Red Dead Redemption. 11, LA Noire. 2012 was Max Payne 3. And then 2013, we all know, GTA 5. But since then, there has been absolutely nothing in terms of no new Rockstar games. And you can extend this graphic if you wanted to go back to when Rockstar first started. You know, pretty much every year they had a new game that was quality content. And in this video, like I said, I want to talk about the whole shark card debate, but I'm going to go at it from both angles. I know there's going to be a ton of people that agree with me and there's going to be a ton of people that disagree with me, but I think it's a pretty valid question to ask. You know, are the shark cards, are these microtransactions basically ruining what we all used to like about Rockstar, I guess? And I don't want to sound like super negative with this video, and I don't want to hate on Rockstar too much, and I hope no one takes it that way. I'm just asking a question that I have been thinking about for quite some time now. To defend Rockstar, going through this list, let's be honest, Chinatown Wars, I don't really count that. That was like a mobile console game, right? Beat Raider, I don't even know what that is. I don't count that. LA Noire, while it was a solid game, it was a one-off game that was made by some other development team that Rockstar kind of stepped in at the last minute, so they didn't really work on it too much. And then Max Payne 3, that series is over, so I don't think you can count that too much either, because they're not going to release another Max Payne game. And then GTA 5, we all know and love. Also, I want to mention that there are multiple studios, multiple development teams at Rockstar. So GTA 4 was Rockstar North, Midnight Club Los Angeles was Rockstar San Diego, Chinatown Wars was Rockstar Leeds, I believe. Red Dead Redemption was Rockstar San Diego with the help of Rockstar North. LA Noire, like I said, was made by some other development team, and then I believe Rockstar Vancouver. I could be getting that one wrong. I think they stepped in at the last second and got it done. Max Payne 3, I want to say it was Rockstar North, and then GTA 5 was kind of a mix between Rockstar North and then San Diego. So it's not like they have one development team working on all of these games. And, you know, one of the questions I do want to bring up is sort of what happened to those development teams, right? Like, what happened to these other games, these other titles that they were working on? Or did they stop because of shark cards? Another thing I will say to defend Rockstar is that they take the time to create quality games, and they don't just rehash the games like, you know, every year like some companies do. They don't make, or they're not making a Max Payne 3 or a Max Payne game every year. They're not making Red Dead Redemption every year. They're not making Grand Theft Auto every year. And I appreciate that. I think we all appreciate that. That's why we like their games. That's why they're one of the best, if not the best, at making games in the gaming community. Now, with all that being said, I don't know if that is really relevant to this discussion or to this question, because they haven't had a major release in 4 years. And as you saw from the graphic, they were doing major releases or releasing these games on a consistent basis, and all of them were fairly good. I mean, maybe Beat Raider, Chinatown Wars, that was like the one-off year, but the other games were fairly good. So what happened to that? And this is somewhat answering the question. I think the reason they sort of stopped is because they found a way to make a ton of money with minimal effort. Now, I'm not saying it took minimal effort to make the GTA DLCs, the free DLCs, but compared to making an actual game, it's definitely a lot less. Like, a lot less resources go into making a DLC, I'm sure, than they do go into making a fully fledged new title or a fully fledged new game. And now that I'm bringing up shark cards, there's going to be a ton of people that say, well, dude, you can't complain, man. All the DLC is free. Let's touch on that a little bit. We've had multiple discussions on this over the years, and ultimately, I don't think at this point, if you like like your mind's not going to get changed. If you like the free DLCs, you like them. If you don't, you don't. You're not going to crisscross and go, switch sides basically. But taking a look at the DLC content, right, just from GTA 4 and GTA 5, taking a look at free versus paid DLC. In GTA 4, we had paid DLC, and I don't remember the exact price. Maybe it was $15, $20. And I'll even include Red Dead Redemption, because Undead Nightmare is regarded as one of the best DLCs of all time. And in both of those games, all the DLCs, they added basically a new campaign with new missions, new characters, a bunch of like new cars, weapons, all that stuff. And you got, 20, 25, 30 hours of enjoyment from that. Where with the free DLC, with GTA Online, it's like, all right, here's a few cars, which may be cool. Here's, some PvP modes, which aren't very good. And here's some CEO stuff or some ways to make money that is not really a good way to make money. But it could be fun, could not be fun. The free DLC is definitely lacking in content and in quality compared to the paid DLC. Now, on the other end, to defend Rockstar again, I will say that having the free DLC has extended GTA Online's life by a ton, because if they didn't have these free DLC, and let's just say they did have paid DLC, we might not be playing GTA Online at the moment, because normally when it comes to paid DLC, a game has what, 3, maybe 4 paid DLCs that are $20, $25. And at max, maybe you could stretch that out over 2 years, so you get 2 extra years of content of people playing your game. Where GTA Online with the free DLC model is what, pushing 4, and it's probably going to even extend, past that. So I will say the free DLC is awesome because we still get to enjoy the game, and the game does sort of feel fresh every few months when they do release these free DLCs. But one of the things that I personally hate about the free DLCs is it turns people into Rockstar apologists. Like, you can't criticize the DLCs because they're free, and that's the argument. They're like, oh, you don't like it? Well, guess what? It's free. You don't like the prices? It's free. It doesn't matter. But that's not how it works. Like, that shouldn't be the argument. That shouldn't give them an excuse to release mediocre content. And again, I'm not saying everything's mediocre, because there has been some really solid DLCs, but on the other hand, there was some other stuff that was really questionable. And because they are free, technically, some people don't have a problem with that, and I think that's kind of wrong in and of itself. Another thing that always gets brought up with DLC is, online versus single player. On the Newswire in 2014, they said they had plans for a single player DLC, and there hasn't been a single player DLC. So at some point, they scrapped the single player DLC to go and make more online DLCs, which in turn means more shark card money, more microtransaction money. So that's another sort of example of how these microtransactions are causing stuff to be canceled. Now, one thing I will bring up, and I'm sure some people might have already brought it up in the comment section, the fact that it's not really fair to compare this schedule from 2008 to 2017, because nowadays the development cycles on games are much longer, and games take more resources to make. And I mean, GTA 5 is one of the biggest games of all time. And comparing GTA 5 to GTA 4, you can totally see the difference. And you can understand that, yeah, GTA 5 and, even I'm sure Red Dead Redemption 2, there's a reason they took so long in between the games to be released, because there's just so much they had to do. And look, maybe that's the reason we haven't got any new Rockstar games. Maybe the games they want to make that aren't GTA or Red Dead Redemption, maybe they do take 2, 3, 4, 5 years to develop as well. If you watched the video I put up yesterday, there is a rumor going around that Bully 2 is actually going to be the next game that Rockstar make after Red Dead Redemption 2, or the next game they release. So maybe they were experimenting with GTA 5 and GTA Online, and maybe they'll go back to the plan that they had, it seems, before GTA 5, where they have games in between their big 2 titles. And I think there's a way to balance it. I think there's a way to have their cake and eat it too. I think there's a way that they could have GTA Online or GTA Online 2, let's say, for instance, with GTA 6, right? And they could have all their microtransactions, but they could also have these other games and please the community and please the people who like the games they make. But getting back to the question at hand, the discussion that we're having about are shark cards the reason, one thing that I personally think is actually happening. So we all know the main studios are Rockstar North. They do GTA 5. San Diego does Red Dead Redemption. They have some crossover, and they have some smaller studios, you know, here and there that do some other things. But I think what's happening is these smaller studios, they're working on these GTA Online DLCs. So instead of working on a new game, they're working on these DLCs. And I think that's ultimately sort of one of the problems here. But the question that I saw from someone, you know, they're making all this money, like a ton of money, billions of dollars. So why don't they expand? You know, if they, let's just say, have some of these developers working on GTA Online, that's fine. Keep that up. You know, we all like that. Some of us do, at least. But why don't you know, they go out and get more developers to make some of these other games, or get more developers to help on GTA, so the original developers can go make the games that they like. And I think to end this video, what I'll say is, I'm not saying that I want GTA to become an annual game, or I want, you know, Rockstar to produce or make annual, or to release games annually like EA or Activision, like these other companies, right? Because that's the reason why we like them. I'm just sort of wondering what happened to all these other titles that they have consistently put out in the past. You know, where is the next Midnight Club? Where's the next LA Noire? Where's the next, I don't know, not Max Payne, Agent, because that was a game that they said they were working on. Where's the next Bully? You know, where are these games? I'm almost positive the thing I'm going to see the most in the comment section is, oh, that's fine, just blame Shark Cards. You know, it's all Shark Cards' fault. But how is it not? You know, how can you not blame the Shark Cards and the microtransactions? Because Rockstar made what, over 500, I think it was like what, $700 million. I know it was over 500 million. I think it was closer to 700 million though more recently. They made that much in microtransactions alone, and that totally changes the way a company sees things and the way they do business. And from a business perspective, yeah, it's fine, sure, but from a consumer, from a guy who just plays the game and enjoys their games, all of their games, not just GTA Online, you know, that's what sucks. And that's why I wonder what sort of happened, you know, and I'm wondering, are Shark Cards the reason? They almost have to be, right? So let me know in the comments what you think of this. Obviously, this is going to be a pretty controversial video topic, so I'm expecting, you know, a ton of people to disagree with me. That's completely fine. Obviously, it's all everyone's opinions, right? But I did just want to discuss this topic with you guys. Do you think it's the Shark Cards' fault, or do you think they haven't released anything just because that's how it is now and Shark Cards have nothing to do with that topic? Thank you all. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more awesome GTA content. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.